You did not choose to be born in a wealthy country rather than a poor one. You did not choose your genetic health, your cognitive abilities, your parents' wealth, or your historical moment. Everything that most determines your life outcomes was assigned to you by a lottery you never entered. Luck egalitarians want to know why this should be morally acceptable. Luck egalitarianism holds that inequalities are unjust when they arise from brute luck. Circumstances beyond the individual's control, like birth country, genetic health, family wealth, or historical era, and potentially acceptable when they arise from option luck, the outcomes of deliberate gambles a person chose to take. You should not be worse off because of bad brute luck. Being born with a disability, born into poverty, born in a country with no opportunities. These are not outcomes you chose. They are the starting conditions of a game you were placed into without consent. The philosophical tension. If we are committed to holding people responsible for their choices, which seems essential to any coherent moral framework, we must also distinguish what they chose from what they were given. But the two categories are not cleanly separable. A person's capacity to make good choices is itself partly a product of brute luck. Intelligence, emotional regulation, impulse control, resilience. Even the values that guide their choices were shaped by an upbringing they did not choose. The boundary between the self that chooses and the circumstances that shape that self is philosophically contested. The luck egalitarian conclusion is not that nothing people do matters, or that all differences in outcome are unjust. It is that a just society owes its members compensation for the disadvantages of brute luck. And that moral responsibility tracks choice, not circumstance. Where you end up should depend on what you do with what you were given, not on what you were given. The lottery of birth is not something you can be held responsible for. Building a world as if you could is a moral error with very large consequences.